It's 7 o'clock in the morning, 12th of June today, 2025. So this is 110 years ago. In a half an hour, this blew up. The British troops must have been over this way, I think, if I've read the map right. And they burrowed underneath this field. Seems like a bit of a strange place for them to be, but so it's a low spot there. But they might have been a little bit further over there, perhaps. Anyway, they burrowed under the ground. They dug 2 tunnels. Only used one of them. There was 60,000 pounds of explosives used here. Unbelievable. So you can imagine the tension. 13 minutes to go before this blows up, which is then the signal for them to leave the trenches and come across the land. Revised. Oh, they must have been over that way. Must have been over there somewhere where those trees were, although the trees probably wouldn't have been there at that time. And they have to come across here. This is about 1,000 meters into the German territory. Now, 1,000 meters from them to the Germans. So this is where the Germans would have been sitting, minding their own business, I suppose. I mean, there must have been a state of alert all the time. Can't possibly have just sat down and smoked a cigarette or something. So there must have been that tension the whole time. Less than 10 minutes to go. A lot of people were writing letters home to their family, saying goodbye. So they knew they were coming into incredible fire. It's really quite peaceful here at this time. So there we have it, 7:28, 1st of July 1916. This behind me, the Lochnavar crater, blew up at this time. 60,000 pounds of explosives were used. The earth that was blown up rose up to 4,000 feet in the air. A pilot that was observing the explosion said that the earth seemed to rise up to 4,000 feet, hang in the air before finally falling back down again. It blew a hole 70 feet deep and 300 feet wide. At first, when I came here, I was thinking, well, that's a bit strange because this is a bit of a high point. And if the British or the Allies were over there, and I think that's, as I've read the map right, hopefully, if they were over there, they were on, like a low point. But on further thinking about it, this land that's surrounding the hole would have been the fallout from the hole. In the middle of the hole, there's a rise, like a meteor strike. So whether that was because it got blown up and then partly fell straight back down again, and the rest of it just got blown all around here, which makes this land here a little bit higher than the rest of the land that's here. So that's an amazing thing, I think. I think you have to. I wonder whether the day was similar today, sunny, It's a light wind. What a day to die. Why do we have wars? So now I'm at the Hawthorn Ridge crater. This one was detonated on the 1st of July 1916, same as Lochnavar. And this one was detonated though 8 minutes before at 7:20. It's not as big, but it's still quite impressive. This was on the German lines. Doesn't show you where the British were, and you can't see anything either. So yeah, you have to leave that to imagination, I suppose. You can come down into this crater. It's a little viewing area, and actually when I look at it here, I don't know whether it's much smaller than the other one, than Lochnavar, because whereas the other crater is a definite round hole, this is decidedly oval. But no, it's not as deep. It's not as deep. But yeah, from on the longest point, probably as big. There's not so much information here, which is unfortunate. And these trees that you can see here, where they've all grown up in the middle of this crater, obviously wouldn't have been there then. They've had 100 years to grow and multiply. Still quite impressive. There's not so much information here on the ground, but they do have a little signs. I don't know if you can see this. There behind me, there's little signs. Has a QR code on it where you can download information as to the site. This again apparently is taken over by a Hawthorn Ridge, you see that, association. So I find it a little bit strange that it's all been taken over by English or British associations, when in fact this here was, and the other one, Lochnavar, was German trenches. This was actually taken over by the Germans afterwards. They had themselves quite well buried in here and wasn't really much blah 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 blah. Well, the wreaths that are laid down here, I notice, are from the Hawthorn Ridge Crater Association. Like I say, I don't really understand why there's no German memorandum here, memorials, as it was German sign, German lines this. But I do notice that the wreaths do say to all nations. So, I mean, there was a lot of Commonwealth soldiers, but of course there were also German soldiers, so to all nations. A lot of the graves on this side seem to be a soldier, like unknown, whereas on this side they seem to be mostly with names. I notice here actually there's not the same spelling, but spelling with a X, Nixon, Staffordshire Regiment, 5th of January 1917. So these people all died after Richard. January, February. Oh, so they get newer as they go up. How amazing. There's a soldier of the Great War. A soldier, 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 a soldier. Then we have Wilkins, Madden, Crumble Home, Greaves, a soldier, a soldier. I find this totally distasteful, to be honest. North Front seems to be full of, I mean, this is only a small one in comparison, but and I can't imagine, in fact I'll count them afterwards, how many graves there are of people that died for no reason. Unbelievable. I just made a stop for no reason really at this one grave here. It's W.S. Monsdale from the Lancashire Fusiliers, and if I'm not mistaken, because I've not been able to find a lot of information about some of my relatives, at least one of my granddads was with the Lancashire Fusiliers, and I can't remember which one it was, which is annoying. But anyway, this guy Monsdale, W.S. Monsdale, he was 19 when he died, so he can't have been over here very long.